In this video we're going to be taking a look at how to use Minitab in order to calculate descriptive statistics, so things like the mean, median, mode, standard deviation, the 5-number summary that we would need for a box plot. We're going to look at how to calculate Z-scores, how to get a box plot using Minitab, and also how to sort data. So again, the detailed instructions are in D2L, so you can take a look at those. And so let's go into Minitab, and I'm going to open up two of the files that you will actually be using for your lab. The file fbody, so this is female data, and then also mbody, and that's for male data. So we're just going to have both of those open. And you can tell which data set you're going to be doing calculations with or working with because it'll be in front, and also this top bar will be a little bit darker. So right now mbody is the data file that we have that we're working with. If I go click on this fbody, then that will bring that forward, and that's the data set that we would be working with. Now I can't really see the mbody data, but you can move it, or you could also minimize it by clicking on the little minus symbol up here, and then we would see the mbody data in our window. So now where the other data set went is down here, and so it's this first thing actually is our project manager. So this will keep a record of everything that we do while we're in Minitab right now. So and you can tell which one that is because of this little symbol here on the left. So, and this has a little symbol saying that it's a worksheet, so we could open that one back up. Okay. So right now we have the female body data set opened up. In your lab, you're going to be working with the heights. Right now, in our example, we're going to work with HDL levels. So I'm going to first get the descriptive statistics for both the female and the males. So we're going to go ahead and click on Stat. We want Basic Stats and then Display Descriptive Statistics. So I already have HDL up in here, but normally it's not going to be there. You're going to need to select that and get that in your variables box. And then you can click on Statistics, and so it will calculate any of these things in here. So right now it's just set for the default, and I'm just going to leave it at the default and click OK, and then you can also produce a few graphs. So we could do a histogram of our data, we could do a histogram of data with a normal curve, and a box plot. So for right now I'm not going to do those because we're going to do them later, but you can have it be produced all at the same time if you would like. And then just click on OK, and then we get our descriptive statistics. So, so this was the female body data, and then if I select the male body data, I can do the same thing. So click Stat, Basic Stat, Display Descriptive Statistics. It's already got HDL selected there. You may have to select it though, so be careful of that. And then we're going to keep it at the default, so I don't need to worry about the statistics or the graphs right now. And then just click OK. So now the bottom set is my male body data, so that's the male HDL information. On top I have the females. So there are a total of 40 data values for both of them. We have our mean. The mean for the females is 57.05, and for the males it's 50.25. You don't need to worry about this SE mean right now. The standard deviation for the females was 16.77 and 11.53. We have our minimum value here. We have our first quartile, Q1. We have our median. We have Q3, our third quartile, and we have our maximum. Okay, so we have all of those things. And so in your lab, you're going to want to answer some questions about the data, and so just make sure that when you say something that you just back it up with some sort of justification. Okay. So we can actually open up the lab and take a look at the questions that it asks. So first you want to fill in So the first time you do it, you're going to do it with data that you put in. It's a subset of this M-body and F-body data, and you're going to compare those results. So we want to compare the results from A and B. So is there a difference, like is the mean for one higher or lower? Or, you know, compare the means, are they different? Look at the standard deviation, is there a difference in those? Is there a big difference in the range, or are they about the same? And then, so, you know, just talk about the data, and are they about equal to each other? Is there a difference? Is one higher or lower than the other one? So just discuss the differences there. And then for number 2, you are going to add in this outlier into the male data heights that you entered from number 1. So this would be, so you're going to change the first height of 178.8 to 1,788. So this is the mistake, as if someone had forgotten the decimal point. So, and then you're going to look at and compare this data to the actual data that you entered, and see how an outlier, a value that's very far away from the other data values, affects the rest of these numbers in your mean and your median, your standard deviation, your range, and the 5-number summary. And then you're going to do the same thing, find all of those values using the full data set, the data sets that I have pulled up in Minitab right now, and then you're going to compare those results and talk about some notable differences. And then the last thing that you're going to do is take a look at a box plot and compare them that way. Okay, so let's go back to our data set. So we have our descriptive statistics, so we could talk about these. So the mean for the women is slightly higher than the men. The standard deviation is also slightly higher, so that means that the data for the females is a little bit more spread out than it is for the men. And so we can also see that our minimum and our maximum, so our minimum is smaller than for the females than the males, our maximum is larger for the females than the males, and so we can see from that also that the female data is more spread out than the males. The median, the very center value, is a little bit higher for the women than it is for the men, so you can talk about all of those things. So again, you're going to be looking at heights instead of these HDL cholesterol levels that I'm looking at. Okay, next we want to look at how to find Z-scores. So in order to calculate a Z-score, we're going to go and click on the Calc menu, and then we want to select Standardize, and then we want to select our, whoops, not LDL, I wanted HDL. Select the column that we wanted to work in, and then store the results. Where do we want to store them? So we would want to store them in the last, over here in C15. So we want to subtract the mean and divide by the standard deviation. So that's the calculation that we want. It should be automatically selected for you. And then you could just click on OK, and it will automatically calculate all of these Z-scores for you. And you could label this. So that you know what you have there. So that's the Z-scores for HDLs. So remember, the Z-score is how many standard deviations away from the mean is that data value. So that's the interpretation of a Z-score. The next thing that we want to take a look at is box plots. And so when you do your box plot, what we want to do is we want to compare both the male and the female heights in your lab, but we're going to want to do it for the HDL levels in our lab. And so what you need to do is you're going to need to copy either the female data into the male worksheet or the other way around. So I'm going to grab these HDL levels. So let's show you that again. So if I click on anything, it's just going to highlight the one box. But if you click on C5, then it will highlight that whole column. And then you can copy it, either do Control-C, or you can click on Edit, Copy. Copy cells. So I usually use Control C to do this. So Control C, and then bring up the male body data, and we're going to paste it in there. So go ahead and you can just click on this tan box and press Control V. And so then I'm going to change what this says. So this was my female data, so I'm going to do _F for female. Now that I have them both in the same worksheet, I can do a box plot. So select Graph, go to Box Plot, there we go, wasn't seeing it for some reason, and we want multiple wise this time. So we want, because we want data's values that are in two different columns. So select that one and click on OK, and then you want to make sure that you select the data that you want to have in your box plots. So we want the HDL, and we want the HDL for the female. And then you can go ahead and click on OK. And now it brings them up so that they're in the same window, and we can really actually compare the two data sets when they're this way. So we can very clearly see that the HDL levels for, and it will tell you that this is the first box plot and this is the second box plot. So this was our men's data, this was our female data. So this is the graph for the men and this is the graph for the women. And so we can see that this box plot is longer, which means that it's got a bigger range. We can see that the median is this line that goes through our box, so that line is lower than it is for the women, so the median value is smaller. We can see that the box is smaller also, so just in general the female data is more spread out. This star right here is an outlier, so this is a data value that is an outlier, so that's what a star would indicate there. Okay, so that is how you create a box plot, and then you can also sort data. Oops, let me minimize this box plot. So if you want to sort data, we would click on the Data menu item up there and then go to Sort. And then this is a little bit weird, so if I want to sort my HDL levels, I would double click on HDL to bring it over, so that's what I want to sort by. And you can sort all of your columns, but if I just want to sort the HDL column, I would select Specified Columns, and then you have to select which column you want to sort. So that's why this is a little bit weird. So you would have to click HDL again. So you have to put the data file that you want to sort in the first box here, then change this to Specified Columns if you only want to sort that data column. If you want to sort the entire worksheet, then you would leave it on all columns, but we only want to sort the HDL column. So then you're going to have to enter that HDL column in the second box as well. Well, third. This is a drop-down menu, so I guess it's the second box. And then store it at the end of the worksheet is just fine. So it gives you, you can specify where you want to put it, but at the end of the worksheet is perfect. Click on OK, and so here's our sorted HDL column over here. One other thing about Minitab is that if you have to, for whatever reason, figure out, for instance, how many data values there are in the 30s, then if you click on this and highlight these, then it tells you how many rows and how many columns you have selected, and so you can count. So right now I have 10 data values highlighted, so it tells me that, which is kind of nice if you need to count stuff up. So that is it for this video. Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you're all having a great day. Thanks.